Hi, welcome to Stalwarts of Music with Aditya Veera, Season 3. I'd like to give a very special shout out to our podcast partner, Perpetual Buzz Experiences. You can feel free to check them out on www.perpetualbuzz.com. Season 3 is taking great shape, and I'm bringing to you some of the best artists in every possible genre, as promised, on this planet. Stalwarts of Music with Aditya Veera is doing an Indian album premiere of blues rock's resilient icon, the one and only Walter Trout. He's putting out his 31st album, which is going to be called Broken. This is a deeply personal record featuring guest artists like Beth Hart, Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, and many more. If you happen to be a true fan, you can feel free to pre order the album on Bandcamp or head out to his website and get some exclusive merchandise ranging from t shirts to CDs and even signed vinyl copies. Details are mentioned in my description. Guitar legend Scott Henderson has put out his all new album Carnival, and I'm happy to be promoting this release on my show as well. It's going to be followed by a pre show concert edition podcast for a show happening at Windmills, Bangalore on the 12th and 13th of April, powered by Total Environment Foundation. Don't forget to listen to Carnival and get an autographed CD of the same from the online shop at www.scotthenderson.net. And if you wish to attend the concert happening in Bangalore, head out to the Windmill website and you will find your tickets to the show.
My name is Jakub Żytecki, and I play kind of guitar music, I guess, because I'm a guitar player. I've been playing the guitar for a long time, and I'm very stoked to finally be able to come to India for these couple shows, starting with Oddball Festival. What's even more insane is that there's going to be lots of great bands. You're listening to Stalwarts of Music with Aditya Veera.
Hi, Jakub. Namaste. Welcome to Stalwarts of Music with Aditya Veera, Season 3.
Oh man, glad to be here.
It's such an incredible privilege to have you on the show. And what makes it even more interesting is we are having a festival edition podcast with you for the second time. This is the second season where Oddball is going to be having a festival edition podcast. So I'm delighted to have you on the show.
Nice. Yeah, again, glad to be here. Thank you for doing this.
Well, pleasure is mine, and I have some very interesting questions coming your way. Shall we get started?
Yes, let's do this.
So, Jakub, Poland has rich musical traditions, and it's known to have some of the pioneers in music, all the way from Chopin to Oscar Colbert, and you've had bands like Behemoth and beyond, right? So, how do
Yeah.
you think the cultural influence manifests your musical compositions? And can you identify specific elements or motifs that reflect the Polish music heritage in your music?
Wow, that's an interesting question. Well, I would say, yeah, we stand very strongly through our metal scene. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that's yeah. I wonder why that is. Maybe that's just because the weather here in general climate, which is mostly pretty dark and depressive,
Mhm.
except the summer. Uh, I definitely noticed that there's a lot of incredible like musicians and
Yeah.
artists in Poland. Um, but what I've noticed also is that throughout the last couple of decades, at least in music, there was this tendency of like trying to replicate what's cool on the West. Anything that was coming from America or UK or the Western countries in general was tried to be replicated through in by Polish artists, and I feel like right now uh, there's more and more artists that are kind of embracing the Polish culture, whatever that is, and just our language, our
Mhm.
artistic language, I guess. So there is more of that in music these days. There's so many incredible artists these days. What's that exactly? Like, you mean like in my music? What's that element
Yeah,
like?
yeah. So how do you sort of take that tradition or the musical
Yeah,
heritage in your music?
yeah. Ah, honestly, I've never really listened to much Polish music. Like,
Okay.
there've been a couple of bands or artists, but mostly I've been just listening to stuff from abroad for some reason.
Hmm.
Uh, but I guess what's maybe present in my music is just the landscapey kind of element.
Okay.
Because I've been growing up in like a very small village
Hmm.
in a southern eastern part of Poland,
Yeah.
pretty much surrounded by nature
Mm.
from each side. So I do really resonate with that landscape element in music. So I guess, and Poland is also very beautiful
Yeah.
in that matter. So I guess, yeah, that's probably that element, landscape kind of thing. Yeah,
Makes sense. And I see a beautiful environment right behind you that you've created with some plants and those
yeah.
ambient lighting. It's beautiful, man. Where are you?
Thank you.
Which part of Poland are you in right
Southern. I live in Krakow, which is
now? Uh huh.
I used to be a capital city of Poland like
Yeah.
a long time ago,
Yeah.
and it's a beautiful city. It's a very old city, and I've been living here with a tiny breaks every now and then for like the last 10 years.
Mhm.
And yeah, I just moved to a new place, and yeah, I'm glad you. Thank you for appreciating it. I really care about like setting my environment right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, no,
because
it's interesting to see. Usually when there's this whole idea of a musician, what would come to a normal person's mind would be a clumsy room, and guitars lying haywire, and then
yeah,
cables all around. But you've
it
made
used to
it.
be like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah, Yeah,
I guess like it's like I heard it somewhere.
yeah.
I don't remember where exactly, but there was that saying that went like, I need to have a clean environment to have a chaos within my head. So it's pretty much like that, you know.
Sure thing, sure thing.
So,
I feel being organized as a musician is key. And
yeah,
when you bring in that aspect of discipline, you see that change.
yeah, yeah. That's something I resonate with. I guess the older I get, the more I'm like that. It just makes me feel safer.
Yeah,
Um, and safety, I feel like is a key element for writing, at least for me.
lovely.
Yeah.
You've grown up at the same place throughout, or were you at some other part of?
Uh, like 200 kilometers east
Mhm.
from here. It's not that far. It's just little like 2 hour drive maybe.
Okay, okay.
I've been living near the border with Ukraine, just like
Mm.
50 kilometers from the border. So
Oh wow.
you could definitely feel the situation when it all started happening.
Right.
But it's a beautiful area, as well as this place. I mean, yeah, Poland is the weather kind of sucks, especially in winter. But
Mhm.
in terms of like landscape, it's a beautiful country. Uh, And
I,
it's a,
I
I'm a kind of nostalgic person, so I
mm,
like to be in a place that I spend so much time in. Yeah.
nice. I'm guessing you are currently mm, at a more urban part of Poland, right? Compared to where your actual place is.
Yeah, yeah. This is the Krakow is like over a million,
Yeah, yeah.
and my village was over 1,000. So it was pretty small. Uh, but I go there every now and then. Uh, yeah, like the place.
So let's get into the musical aspect. So Jakub, you have a caressing voice, and you're an equally talented singer as much as your
Oh
guitar
man,
skills. Right?
thank you.
That's what I
Good.
personally
Thanks
feel.
for coming.
Yeah, and we can hear a lot of that in terms of songs like Featherbed or The Drum. Right? So
Mm.
could you speak a little bit about are you always comfortable singing, or are there moments where you feel anxious singing without the guitar, especially when you're given a spotlight?
All the time. It's like singing is that thing that I really struggle with
Uh-huh.
in terms of confidence, especially because
Okay.
I mean I've been adding my vocals to my music for years now, but I never really wrote that this is me or something. I wanted to keep it kind of hidden, but once we started playing shows, like there was nowhere to hide anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, singing is incredibly tough in terms of just finding the right amount of confidence. It's just the confidence is the key. Um, but yeah, thank you. I never saw that coming. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. But what was the impetus behind giving it a shot? When did you feel that I'll have to, take the first step of, trying this out?
Um, I don't know. I guess it was just a matter of the need to express myself in that way as well. Because
Okay.
since I remember, like even before I started like really playing the guitar and practicing,
Yeah.
that happened when I was 12. Prior to that, I had like an acoustic guitar with my sister, and I tried to like write some, stupid songs without any knowledge of chords and anything. And I used vocals and tried to write words. So there was that need from the very beginning, even before the need of shred and practicing the instrument. And it stayed like that for some reason. And I just like the process of adding the human element in terms of the voice to the music, finding the words, writing lyrics and just tuning into that abstract place of putting together also some weird sentences to hopefully make something out of it. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Are there any underlying principles when you try to do so, or it's a very natural process where you don't think or strategize and you just go with the flow?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you said it right. Like, I guess I had. It becomes more difficult when I try to strategize. Like whenever I allow myself not to think and just
Yeah,
surrender,
yeah,
uh, yeah, the magic happens. But it's yeah. Anytime I try to like figure it out or put a logic behind it or rationalize process,
mhm.
it just kicks my ass and it's very frustrating. So, yeah.
Around the same time last year, you'd release the album Remind Me. So, can
Mm.
we explore some of the key repertoire in the album Remind Me?
Yeah. Uh, you want to talk about like the process or what exactly?
Sure, sure, yeah. Ideally, the
Uh,
process and some of the key elements of consideration as part of this release.
uh, well, I guess like the first thing that it wasn't planned, obviously, but when I started making the demos, I realized that okay, so it kind of sounds a little bit heavier again because I had a little break with that, especially with the EPs that you mentioned, like Fire or Bad. It was exploring some different areas, but with Remind Me it was like okay, so we're gonna use A string guitars again. That's cool, and distortion. And so I've noticed that, and after that, after a couple of songs being written or being like fully into the process of it, I realized, shit, I don't really have instrumental songs. Most of them are with the vocals.
Yeah,
And I remember like the moment of realizing that was me just kind of freaking out because I
yeah,
was like, like, shit, I'm a guitar player. I'm gonna have some, the typical thing you have in your head.
yeah,
But yeah, I guess I decided to leave it as it is, and it's just, I guess, it's just an attempt to write more of an album with more kind of songs on it. I
yeah.
guess like more song structure things, and yeah, and it's a very, I guess, it's like a rock production that merges with an ambient, so there's a shitloads of reverbs, obviously, but
Mhm.
I try to like merge it with like heavy drums and heavy guitars. So I guess that's it. It's even hard for me to describe it because you can probably tell that there was no like conscious
Yeah,
guidelines to the album.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What was your favorite track in the entire album?
Uh, I mean, hmm, Art is definitely the one that I resonate a lot with because it somehow like lyrically, um, uh, it helped me to say what I really wanted to say, and I didn't really know what I'm saying, and now I kind of know after
Yeah,
some time, which is kind of weird and beautiful at the same time. So
right.
that song, the title track, "Remind Me" song, was the one that I started actually working on at the very late 2020, and I almost released it a couple of months after, which was like spring 2021,
Yeah,
but I just couldn't nail the mix of the song. Some songs are just so hard to mix, especially this one because it merges, like you've got electronic beats and rock drums and all that. So like connecting this and making sure everything flows nicely is very difficult in terms of the mix.
hmm,
So luckily I didn't release the song and I waited a year until I came back to it. And then suddenly it happened, and that song gave me. I literally got a fever when I was working on the song at the
oh
beginning.
no.
I
Okay.
tried to like so hard to make it work, and I just couldn't. And I was just so frustrated. But I had a break with it, and then came back, and suddenly everything just worked. So that song, I like that song as well because it's just. I mean, all of them, I guess, but Remind Me Heart. Um, I really like the ambient side of that album, which is the song "Slot Machines," which is just like literally that. I finished that track a day before releasing the record, so it's like that's the thing when you're mixing your own album. I'm trying not to do that for such a long time, but I always end up mixing my stuff.
Uh-huh.
When you're mixing your music, you work to the very end, and so that was so stupid. I was supposed to have the album done, a couple of
Yeah.
weeks prior,
Yeah.
just to make sure that there's a chance for playlists and stuff. But
Uh-huh.
here I was, there I was finishing it the day before. So yeah, so
Lovely.
that was the very last track I finished.
Lovely. And were you happy with the outcome as to how it was received throughout the world? Were you happy in terms of that?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I didn't really have much time to think about it because I went on like almost 3 month tour right after that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, maybe what I was regretting was that the fact that I didn't, again, because of the fact that I always do everything on my own,
Yeah.
also in terms of like releasing and everything around that, also mixing and putting my music videos together and like so much stuff.
Yeah.
And also I had 2 tours coming. I wish I could have like a little bit more time to just finish the album and think about putting it out and making sure that there's a time for everything. So maybe that's a little regret. But yeah, but that was a big lesson because that was the time when I decided not to do this on my own anymore. So I just
Yeah.
started working with the management and the label for the next steps because it was just too much. Yeah. It just doesn't make sense to do so much things at once because you end up not doing anything properly.
Right. Right. And you said you like doing things on your own. Is it because you like to have control over all of these things? Is it because of that?
Yeah. I do, and I guess
Okay.
but I do, but I want to learn not to need so much control. I want to learn to give it away
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I've been doing this in this model for. I mean, I released my first album in 2015, which is like 9 years ago, which is great.
Right. Right.
And since then, like my solo thing wasn't really a main thing until like
Uh-huh.
2019.
Uh-huh.
But until the first album, I've been doing it on my own, like all of it.
Okay. Okay.
And I just like realized like if I want to keep doing it and actually enjoy it, like I've got to give some things away because
Right.
it's just too much.
Sure. I understand. Being a podcaster, I like to have
Yeah,
control over a lot of things, but it doesn't work all the time, right?
yeah,
Because, like you said, lack of time and
exactly. And
yeah,
you can lose perspective so easily, right? Because you have to
yeah,
do so many
yeah,
things and you're just tired. And the more tired you are, the more you try, and it's just like
yeah,
just spiraling into this fucking doomed place.
sure.
Yeah.
What is your writing process like?
Mm. Uh, it changes. Like for example, like with Remind Me album, it was coming back to the idea of demos. Like that was maybe like one of the few decisions I consciously made. I decided I'm just gonna create a simple template, like a writing template for the demos with like a drum
Yeah,
machine and just
yeah,
2 guitar patches. And I'm gonna write and I'll try not caring about how bad it sounds. I try to like remind myself that this is only the demo. So
yeah.
uh, and I started like producing and mixing it a little bit later. So that was the approach. Because for example, for the previous record, Nothing Lasts, I pretty much started from like going totally deep from the very beginning. Like
Okay.
I pretty much was writing while I was producing in the same time. So yeah, because like it's pretty much the way you do things that will dictate how it sounds in the end. So I find these decisions very important. Um, yeah. So yeah, that's if it comes to these 2 records.
Yeah. Like you said, you tried dabbling at writing as well as producing the
Mm.
entire thing. That must be quite challenging, right? Like
It is because
demands
you have to
a
like
lot of
switch the
attention. Yeah.
perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah. but it's also fun, like very satisfying when it
Yeah,
works.
of course, of course. It must be quite enduring for someone like you, I can imagine.
Yeah. How about you? Do you also do everything on your own?
In terms of podcasting, I yes, like from pitching, like you must have observed, I pitch my podcast. I plan my scripts for each artist. Like, so it's at least a 40-hour process for me to
Mm-hmm.
understand where the artist is coming from and tailor a script or tailor a conversation to that'll bring out the best in them. So that's the most time consuming aspect for me. Of course, there's a lot of marketing, social media promotion. So that's why I kept asking you for the promo videos and things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we can still do that, right? Because
Yeah. Take your time. No worries. Because I plan to put this episode after a while because I have a couple of episodes in the pipeline. So in
yeah,
fact, in the next 2 hours, I'm going to be talking to Gloria Estefan.
I'm not sure I know her, but
Gloria Estefan was one of the biggest Latin pop sensations in America,
oh
Miami.
man,
Have you heard of the song Conga?
I'm not by the title, but I guess
Yeah,
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 I heard
yeah.
more.
She's a huge sensation who has transformed the whole Latin
Mm,
scene. And yesterday I did an interesting podcast with Chief Ajua, Christian Scott,
okay,
who is a trumpeter and who's huge in the jazz world.
mm,
He's played with Pat Metheny and a couple of other people.
nice, man.
Yeah,
Um,
and this week has been quite fascinating for me, man. I did a couple of interesting podcasts with Scott Henderson. He's putting out a new album,
Sick,
and then Steve Morse of Deep Purple, ex Deep Purple. So it's
amazing.
yeah, it's got like so many different realms put together. Right, you come from a different realm altogether, and then there's someone from the Latin pop world, and there's someone like Shaggy, who I spoke to day before, who's from the reggae world. So it's very exciting, man.
It's just driven by the curiosity for me.
Yeah,
Amazing.
indeed. So Jakub, how does spirituality influence your life or music?
Mm. It's a good question. I feel like the spirituality is the thing that comes and goes in my life. Whenever
Okay.
I'm like whenever there's a little bit less pain,
Uh huh.
uh, I kind of forget about it. Whenever the pain comes back, I come back to the topic, right? And
Right.
like all, I guess, for most of us,
Right.
it does. I mean, I guess I'm definitely a person that is not only driven by the just the rational filter of perception. I
Okay.
find it quite boring, to be honest.
Mm.
Or I'm bored by people who are praising rationality as the final way of understanding the universe, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, so I like to believe that there is something bigger than myself that I can tune into. And it's funny that you ask because obviously India is a place where
Yeah.
lots of that stuff comes.
Right.
And yeah, there's been a few like teachers that I've been following since I was pretty much a teenager, like Paramahansa Yogananda, just like Osho, the stories about Babaji and all these kind of people. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
um, yeah, I always found it quite fascinating. Yeah.
Do you
Are
do
you a
you?
spiritual person?
Oh yes, yes I am. So I believe in the divine, and of course I feel that, I mean, that supreme power, like you mentioned, in some form is of course a guiding force during pressing times, like you said, right? But you
Yeah,
usually look out for it when you're in a tough situation.
yeah. It's always I
Yeah.
wish I could stay forever, but every time life gets better, I just forget about it and I just go drink and.
Well, whatever works for you, man. Whatever formula or whatever way of life works for you, right?
Yeah, I
That's the
mean,
best.
writing music was always the biggest relief
Right,
for me.
right, right. I feel some of us, consciously or unconsciously, we might even adapt some of those techniques or those ideas in our art, right? And I think that's
Yeah,
the beauty of it.
yeah, you can somehow get in tune with that.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm definitely like um, excited, or maybe excited is not the word, but just maybe even obsessed by the idea of purity behind making art. Like,
yeah,
but the thing with that is that the more you kind of try to possess it, the more it goes away. So that's
yeah.
yeah. It's very very subtle.
Correct, correct.
Uh, that's why I like the idea of some kind of higher being, because
Yeah,
anytime
yeah.
I feel like I can get in tune with that when I'm writing,
Mm,
it becomes less personal and more just, I don't know, it's less about me.
yeah,
Just yeah, it's tricky to talk about, but I'm sure you know what I'm saying.
yeah. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. So that's yeah. I'm even more excited to come to India finally, man. It's
Sure, man. Sure,
like,
sure. I'd
yeah.
be happy to meet you in person, and I'd love to show you
Yes,
around.
please. Where are you from exactly?
Sorry,
Where are you from?
I am in Bangalore.
Okay. So that's gonna be second show, I think.
Yeah,
The festival is there. Yeah, 20. Interesting. Yeah, man, that would be great.
yeah,
Please
yeah,
come.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And I'd love to take you to some places for some nice food, some nice
Yes.
South Indian food. Yeah, we should try out
Yeah.
some cool
Yeah, that
stuff,
would be
man.
that would be
Yeah,
lovely.
yeah.
How's the coffee situation in India? Do you guys like
Oh
all
yes, oh yes. There's this fine ground coffee which is quite popular in you know Bangalore. You have different kinds of coffee, anything from say a Starbucks to the normal filter coffee, which is
more like coffee specialty places?
sure,
More
man,
like
sure. No,
cool.
so the place where I stay, because it's so diverse, right? This city has people from all over the world, so it has specific coffee places for everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ranging from someone who would prefer the traditional filter coffee to someone who would prefer, say like a Starbucks coffee or a blue tokai, or
Mm-hmm.
say, yeah. So there's variety in terms of
Nice.
choice of coffee, and of course the food, man. The food is the best part.
Can't wait. Can't
Yeah.
wait.
How long are you gonna be in Bangalore for?
We might be actually there for a couple of days because that's the second day of the festival.
Uh huh.
I mean, that's the second, yeah. And then we have at least 3 or 4 days of break, and then we go to then we go to Mumbai.
Oh yeah,
So, but
Mumbai,
I'm not sure
Delhi.
whether we go to Mumbai right after, or I'm
Okay,
pretty sure we're gonna stay for at least a day or two. So, yeah,
makes
that would
sense.
be
Yeah.
perfect.
So we'll hang out, man. Let's hang out.
Yeah, nice.
Sounds great.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Especially like what's the weather? I'm guessing it's like sunny and pretty warm, right?
Which place?
Your place.
Yeah, Bangalore is pleasant. It's not pretty warm right now. It is all right. It's moderate. It's
Because it's a pretty much a Mordor in here, so it's gonna be lovely
yeah,
to
compared to
live.
Poland, yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, you will see a lot of uh climatic change in terms of
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Looking forward to that.
yeah, certainly. So how do you look back at the Disperse album Living Mirrors from 2013?
That's yeah, it's crazy. Like it was exactly 10 years ago
Uh-huh.
when I moved here to Krakow.
Yeah.
I was finishing this record and we put it out. It's
Yeah.
insane. Um, it was yeah. I barely passed high school because of this record.
Oh no.
Because
Yeah.
I was instead of just like I guess
Yeah.
studying, I was just
Yeah.
picking the riffs and stuff.
Yeah.
It was a great adventure, man. This band, we started it so early. I was pretty much 13 when we started it, which is insane.
Yeah.
Released our record when I was 15 or 16.
Wow.
Uh, and we had some great time, and I'd be always grateful for it. Uh, I don't know, maybe one day we'll do it again. I can't really see that happening right now, but when we'll be old and we got wanna rock again, we'll just do another record.
So, what were the circumstances for your departure from the Spurs?
Mm, we just couldn't find the common ground. Me and the singer especially.
Yeah,
And I started focusing more and more on my solo stuff because it felt like way more gratifying.
makes sense.
And as you notice, like I like to have things under the control.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes I just don't like to deal with the people. Not that I didn't want to deal with them, but or with the singer, but just generally, I like to make a decision and not explain myself. Uh, so the solo path seemed like, just resonated more. And also, like this band went through so many iterations in terms of like, team changes and like we had at least like six drummers,
Wow.
and yeah, all incredible ones, especially like having Mike Malian, who is absolute genius, and also Joseph, who is playing with me now,
Yeah.
and Maciek, who's a good friend of mine, who lives here as well in Krakow.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, there's been a lot of people involved in this band, and it just died out naturally, I guess.
I also noticed that you're a music educator. So, what are some of the
Mm,
broad philosophies that you impart on your students?
I'm not. I'm a terrible teacher, to be honest.
Okay.
I just released a few courses, like music courses, on my other side,
Yeah.
just to get some extra money. But well, that's a perfect way of advertising it, right? uh, yeah, but I'm not really. That's not my main focus. I don't really,
Right.
honestly, I don't really enjoy it, and I rarely do lessons. Maybe on tour sometimes, or do Skype lessons during the year. Um, that's probably because most things that I do in music, or probably in life general, I'm kind of intuitive person. So I'm not the guy who's like reading the manual and then doing everything step by step. I just throw myself into it and just try to blindly figure it out.
Yeah.
And at the end, I don't still like still can't really give you an answer how I did it. It's just story, but that's yeah. So that's why teaching is a very tricky thing for me.
Right.
Do you like teaching? Like, do you do that? Like,
Yeah. So, just to give you a background of the stuff that I do. So, music is definitely, you know, one of my side hobbies at this point in time. So, apart
mm,
from music, I'm a radio broadcaster. I have a radio show, which is this
uh,
show will also be airing. And apart from that, I'm also an artist manager. So, I manage a couple of independent acts in the country. So
mm,
that is stuff related to music, and I also represent a lot of international artists coming to India and beyond, right? Like in terms of
mm.
PR work and stuff like that. But apart from that, I am also a coder. So
Okay.
I am a tech consultant for, I don't know if you heard of Oracle Consulting. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
rings a bell. I've
yeah,
heard some,
yeah,
or
yeah.
maybe I've heard it I've heard that name in Batman game. I don't know.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I think I heard it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do a lot of coding, and that's where I teach. I give a lot of insight into like the technology as a whole, helping people to learn
Mm,
the technology. And from a musical aspect, my main strength has been management and understanding the Indian market, and then PR relations for international artists. So right now, I don't know if you know of Alfredo Rodriguez, who is a Quincy Jones artist. He had come down to India
mm,
for the NCPA Jazz Festival. He had a band with Richard Bona and all these people, and I'm
Nice.
representing Mimi Fox, who's another international jazz bebop artist,
Mm-hmm.
and Joe and Jet, and a couple of other people, right? So these are like some areas that I really am knowledgeable in, and I help nurture young talent in my country. So they come to me
Mm-hmm.
for releases, they come to me for PR work, publicity work, and stuff like that.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, you've got to have a right personality to do that, right? You
Yeah,
wanna,
yeah,
yeah. That's super cool. Super cool.
yeah. So, while crafting your album covers and publicity photos, could you
Yeah.
shed light on the artistic goals or themes that you aim to convey, especially considering the often extravagant and intriguing nature of the visuals that you showcased when you sent me the photographs recently?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, most of the pictures were taken by my ex-girlfriend that I was with
Okay. Okay.
for pretty much most of my 20s.
Okay.
And pretty much since we were together, uh, that was 2016.
Mm-hmm.
She pretty much took over the visual side of things just by
Okay.
accident because everybody always loved, her, how
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
sees the things. And pretty much the two first covers of my EPs were just pictures of an
Yeah.
iPhone, but
Yeah.
just the way she saw the world, and it was just very minimalistic, very, yeah, it just worked, and we just kept it that way pretty much till the end. Uh, yeah, and all the pictures I sent you were also
Okay.
uh, done by her. Her name is Kaya Sosnowska, maybe for some people who would like to check her out.
I love the aesthetics. You got a great sense for color and great aesthetic sense in general.
Thank
So
you, man. Yeah,
I
I
love it. I love that.
honestly, like, I love that side of things. Like, sometimes, like, when I, like, 'cause obviously it's all connected. Like, when I encounter a musical problem, and sometimes it's worth to just like figure it out from the visual side, and
Mhm.
it might help, And I love that. I would literally just it's like 30 minutes ago there was a delivery of a huge box and a smoke machine in it. For the future guitar videos, I just realized, man, I need to have some more depth to the
Yeah,
shots. How do I do this? Fucking haze machine. That's perfect. So
yeah.
yeah, I like figuring it out. I like editing and just understanding colors a little bit more.
So what's your vision in terms of your current band, in terms of uniquely bringing to the world of synth pop rock, shall we say?
Mm, what's my what again? I didn't hear the
So
beginning.
what's your vision?
What's that? Sorry.
A vision as in your objective or say your end goal.
Oh, wishing. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. All
yeah,
right. Then.
yeah,
I don't know. It's for me. I mean, again, it wasn't like my conscious decision from the very beginning. But the more I do this, the more I realize, like,
yeah,
this need in me to like merge this nerdy guitar playing with
yeah.
something easier to digest,
Right, right.
and it's been like that, and pretty much for years now, where I try to find this perfect balance between satisfying my inner
Mm-hmm,
musician
mm-hmm.
and also my inner lover for just music, and also the simplicity in music. And both of these things are sometimes contradict each other, which is always very tricky to find this perfect balance. And I'll probably never find it, but just the attempt to do this every now, every time is worth doing. So,
Yeah,
uh, yeah, I guess that's the answer. I don't know. It's just, yeah, having, like, challenging myself as a guitar player, and also as a writer,
yeah.
and hopefully uh, finding uh, matching extension in the visual world of that as well. Connecting more dots
Okay.
with each release.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you describe your friendship with Pliny, who's a favorite in India? Again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Uh, don't even know where to start. Um, well, maybe I'll start from the very beginning. We met online on Facebook like in 2012.
Okay.
I remember I he was about to release his third EP that I played the solo on, so he had released two EPs,
Yeah.
and he was following my band Dispersed, like Living
Yeah.
Mirrors, yeah, the record that he
Yeah.
found, and he wrote us, and soon right after I realized that okay, this guy's releasing some really sick music, and we just kept in touch. I recorded the solo on his record, he recorded on mine soon after, which came out in 2015. And in the same year, he played his, I believe that was the third show ever
Mm.
in UK Tech Festival.
Yeah.
Um, and he asked me to play as a second guitar player. So then that was the time where we met. It was summer 2015, and the vibe was so cool that he asked me
Yeah.
to join him during his Japan tour with
Okay.
Cynic in September,
Okay.
like two months after.
Yeah.
So I flew there, yeah, and we just stayed in touch. And then, most of my shows that I play as a solo act was with him pretty much. And yeah, I consider him a great friend, mentor. Whether he realizes it or not, he's just like incredibly creative person
Yeah.
with a strong sense of detail. and um, and yeah, he actually visited me here in September last
Mm-hmm.
year.
Mm-hmm.
Stayed here for a week, had some crazy time, and he will be here again.
Okay.
We tried to do some writing, but we ended up just partying all the time. So maybe next time. But yeah, he's a great person, great friend to have.
So let's talk about the much awaited topic. So take us through the process of preparing for the much awaited Oddball Festival. Do you have
Mm.
something special planned for the Indian audiences? What's the set going to be like?
Uh, I heard a bunch of. I had a bunch of messages asking me whether we can play some dispersed songs.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I'm thinking about that. I still haven't decided which songs, but
Okay.
it will be cool to revisit these. And I feel
Sure,
like,
man. Yeah.
yeah, like I mean, I'm not sure when we're gonna play in India next time, but still, dispersed might never actually play anymore. So at
Yeah.
least that time I could do that. It will be fun. And besides that, I really want to play some of my older songs, like from the first record, because I never actually played those live. I've
Yeah.
heard people asking about these as well.
Mhm.
So, and I just like got an email. I just asked the organizers like how long the set is gonna be, and
Yeah.
they asked for a pretty long set, and so there's gonna be a lot of time to
Yeah.
put these songs together. And so yeah,
Sure.
some of the older stuff, or
Yeah.
maybe dispersed.
Nice, man. Can't wait for it. So excited.
Yeah, I'm just excited. Like, can't
Yeah.
wait to
Yeah.
play with my band again because we haven't played since November. Haven't seen these guys pretty much haven't seen the drummer since November. So
Okay.
it's gonna be fun to play.
How big is the band going to be, and who are the people playing with you?
We always play as a trio. So I've got the bass player Michał Sarapata
Uh huh.
and drummer is Kruszynovski, and the same guys. If you check the live video that we put out in pandemic, that's literally the
Yeah.
same band.
Got it.
We never like in opposite to the dispersed situation. This band
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
I hope it stays like that.
And how
Uh,
many guitars are you going to be carrying with you?
Probably two, because flying with I was thinking about bringing one more because there's gonna be a few 7-string songs, but I guess I'll have to learn all of them on 8-string. So
Wow.
it's gonna be a little bit more tricky, but
Yeah.
yeah, more convenient just bringing two instead of three. So
Nice, man. I'm so excited already. Sounds
yeah, Yeah,
That's fantastic, man.
yeah. That like, especially like considering that the festival, like all the
Yeah,
bands that are playing there, super
yeah.
cool. I didn't know there's gonna be Leprous and Tigran and
Oh
yeah.
yes, oh yes. In fact, the person who is organizing this festival, he has been doing a tremendous job in terms of getting the best of artists, which is quite unique from any other music festival in the country. And they do a
Mm,
great job at honoring, some of these highly niche centric bands,
mm,
right?
yeah,
So they do a great job at that. So kudos to
yeah.
him.
Far as I can tell, like the organizer, the whole conversation about all the
Yeah.
things around it have been very very smooth. So I'm looking forward to
Could you take me through your signal chains?
signal chains
Hmm.
and like you mean like in mixing process or
No, in terms of the guitar and the pedals that you'll be using and things like
all
that.
right, all right.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the production thing. Um, I was using Helix pretty much since we started playing with my solo stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's gonna be the first time when I'm gonna switch to quad cortex because I had it for almost a year, but I never had time to actually properly like uh, sit with it and figure it out and learn how it works and
Right.
understand it better. So, and
Yeah.
now I've been playing with it for a couple of months, and it's amazing. So now I just need to program it, program the MIDI changes and all of that. So the setup is gonna be very very simple. So it's just quad cortex with additional like two expression pedals because I use.
Yeah.
I like to control some of the effects as well, and two guitars. My
Okay.
bass player is gonna use Helix, one bass and drummer, who sometimes play also the keyboards in a
Okay.
few songs, but
Okay.
this tour I think is gonna play drum. Uh, sorry, and for the vocals I got the Helicon Voice Live 3, which is
Hmm.
like for all these kind of dreamy vocoder like vocals. Is the
Nice.
talent bug, put it shortly.
Sweet, man.
So, and that's literally it. Very simple, which is perfect for flights.
Lovely. I'd like to come to the last part of our agenda, which is an interesting rapid fire for you. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So,
All
first
right.
question for you: what is that one song that always makes you cry?
Probably Wash by Bon Iver.
Nice, nice choice. On the
Yeah.
contrary, what is your favorite guilty pleasure song?
I don't know if I have any. Just guilty pleasure song.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know. But what I can say is that when I started living by myself now, I
yeah,
started listening to like a little bit more of this like all I mean like all this like guitar
yeah,
music that I kind of
yeah,
felt embarrassed to listen to
yeah.
when my girlfriend was around, like I don't know, like Sachani and all that stuff, which is still great, but for some reason I felt like no, I don't want to listen to that when there's other people around because it seemed stupid. Uh, I don't know, man. Sorry, I can't put the
Okay,
things that.
no, no problem.
Let's move on.
If you had to put together an all-star synth pop rock band, who would be in it?
Hmm. Uh, hmm. Well, on drums, I would have. Well, he doesn't have anything to do with synthpop, but I love this drummer. Except my own drummer, of course. His name is Yusuf Diaz. Plays with Tom Misch.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Incredible drummer. I would probably have a singer of the 1975 on the vocals,
Uh huh.
uh, and on the keyboards, or I don't know, basically in the band doing whatever. Anthony Gonzalez from M83, which is pretty much a pioneer of synth-pop, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can go more synth-pop than that.
Lovely. Great choice. In fact, Yusuf, you said Yusuf Dias, right? Yusuf Dias had played in India. He played in India last year, and I
Nice.
saw him live. Yeah, it was incredible.
Incredible. Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of that record that they put out in 2020. What kind of music with Tomish?
Yeah,
It's so good. So
it
good.
is. It is insane.
Yeah.
What is your favorite cuisine?
I'm not sure if I know that word. Sorry.
Your food, your favorite food.
Okay. Um, I really like Asian kitchen, especially Korean. Like I could eat bibimbap pretty much all the time. I'm also a meathead, so I love meat in almost every single form. But yeah, bibimbap, which is pretty much a mix of veggies with rice, some beef on top of that, and egg, and I could eat that forever. So,
Got great taste for food.
yeah, but I can't wait to taste your kitchen as well.
Yeah.
Looking forward to
You
it.
should, of course. Speaking of the top 5 things in your wardrobe before the Indian tour, what are they?
My wardrobe.
Hmm?
There's that store called Kidoriman, which is a Japanese store.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you can't really see that, but yeah, just yeah, whatever. They do like these very comfy, mostly trousers, but not only. And I just ordered like 2 pairs, so I just definitely wanna feel comfy on stage. I mean, we have this kind of thing that we wear these psychedelic, very colorful shirts as a band, which kind of brings that kind of Tame Impala vibe, which we like. But now I feel like I'm just so tired of wearing these tight fucking things. I just want to, feel comfortable. So definitely Kidoriman. Yeah, I guess a couple of shirts, maybe a suit to bring back the emo look.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 3, but I can't think of anything more. Sorry.
Are you having your own line of merchandise? Are you going to be bringing anything for the Indian fans?
Yeah, I've got some simple shirts that I'll have and CDs, and yeah, very simple. So we can't take much because flights, but we will have some.
So I have one last question for today.
Yeah.
So here's the question, Jakub. Down in the distant horizon, what would you like to be remembered as?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Just for the music I make, I was just trying to think of some complex, beautiful answer, but I don't have any. Just the music is something that probably that I will leave behind, and
Yeah.
if it's gonna still resonate with people after my lifetime, it's just mission accomplished, So yeah.
Great answer for a closure. This interview will be additionally aired on Big FM Shillong and Aizawl, 2 incredible radio stations in the northeastern part of India. And it'll also be out on my YouTube channel, Aditya Veera 1994. And it'll also be streaming at a later point on all audio streaming platforms ranging from Spotify to Apple Podcasts.
Thanks.
So thank you so much, Jakub. It's been such an incredible blessing, honor, and a privilege to have you on the show.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Glad to be part of it again. Yeah, looking forward to see you and experience some lovely food and the city together. So,
Sure, man. Sure. I'd be happy to show you around. Yeah. Hoping to see you in my city.
yeah, thanks again, man. And see you soon. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Hey.